What's up, America? It's your boy, or as most like to call, your favorite son of a bitch, Chad Caton, Thugzilla, and we are here to drop bombs and give the truth and to protect those that cannot protect themselves. I have the right to remain silent, but I do not have the ability. And tonight, we are going to give you the pre-trial concept of what's going on when we can maybe get to some semblance of understanding when the big bad GOP pirates. Hang on, we'll do this. Let me do it a little bit better. I got a better voice. We got the GOP pirates, and we're gonna move right into how we're supposed to get the real duly elected HCGOP understood. There is going to be a court case tomorrow, and I had to come out and talk about what is going on and how any of this makes sense. Because there's people out there that are sitting around going, I'm going to wait till I hear what happened. I don't care about the 400 screenshots of a nefarious group trying to undermine the duly elected literally 2 months after they were elected. This is some real, I'll use their word, Stasi shit, because that's what they do. They are absolutely trying to undermine the duly elected. That's you, Horry County, and the rest of this state that's happening in your area, Oconee, York, Greenville, Beaufort, Charleston. It's happening everywhere. And for those of you that are watching nationally on all of our socials right now, you know, because a lot of you have been reaching out to me saying, holy crap, the same thing's happening here in South Texas. It's happening in Arkansas. It's happening in New Hampshire. It's happening all over the United States. The establishment uniparty is circling the proverbial wagons. I have a special guest tonight. We're going to go through what you can expect tomorrow at the magistrate court when Roger Slagle, the duly elected GOP chairman, and Secretary Barbara Tracy, and our treasurer Angela King. They will all be in court tomorrow with Reese Boyd III, Esquire, and the rest of his people. I don't know who he's bringing because, frankly, I don't care. So we're going to talk, and I want to make it real short and sweet because I do have a special guest, and I brought somebody here that, well, frankly, folks, there hasn't been anybody that's been a chairman longer from what we can tell. And he happens to be right here in Horry County, South Carolina, and he's respected throughout and was just a former 7th congressional candidate. I call him Uncle Ken. Ladies and gentlemen, Ken Richardson. Welcome to I'm Fired Up. Mr. Ken, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Chad. How you doing, buddy?
Well, I'm tired. I'm very tired. But you know me, and you know Elizabeth and the rest of us. We believe in this fight, and you and I have been on the same page of those fights many, 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 many times. And you just got done with a 7th congressional race that was very interesting, to say the least. You know, Trump came in and the single fence went the way they should have with a 58% conservative voting record in Russell Fry. I'm going to say it again. I hope to God Russell finds his conservative water wings and works himself through Congress and becomes a stud up there. I do not want him to fail. I did not want him to be my congressman, but I don't want him to fail because I live in Horry County, South Carolina. Whether I like it or not, he is my 7th congressional congressman, and that's where I land right now. First off, how you doing after that long? You were the first one out on that congressional, and you were all over here in South Carolina in the 7th congressional. How you feeling? Did you take some time?
I'm feeling great, Chad. I had a great time. You know, God blesses you sometimes when you least expect it. And I think maybe I got a blessing because my wife told me the other night, she said, I don't know how you could have sat there through 15 votes the other night because I've always kind of prided myself in trying to get things done. And I don't like going around and around a lot of times the way a lot of stuff's going on. But you know what? My whole life, I mean, I've had to deal with things my whole life. Sometimes I agree with things. Sometimes I don't. Heck, I've argued with you as much as anybody. I don't even know if you remember it, but word got back to me one time that you weren't going to support me when I ran for Congress, and I called you and I said, "Hey, Chad,
you did.
Are you going to support me or not?" And you said no, and I said, "Why?" And you told me, and I accepted it, and Next day it was right on, just like business as usual. I mean,
It
and
was.
you get, I don't know if I ever told you that, but I appreciate that because I learned a long time ago the one person you can trust is the guy that tells you he's not going to vote for you, because you can believe he's not going to vote for you if he tells you he's not. But you told me why, and I understand that. But that's the kind of world we live in today. We should live in a place where people can disagree and people can see what things one way or another way, and it's okay. I mean, it really is. And I tell
Amen.
you, I'm happy because for the first time in 24 years, officially now, I do not hold a title. Well, I still got one title, but I'm not elected or appointed right now.
Right.
Thank goodness.
You are
So
still husband to Miss Dawn.
that's right. That's right.
And you, I mean, think about that. All them years in politics, and you're still with Miss Donna. That right there should get you a
That's
medal
right.
of some
That's
sort. And I heard that Biden's passing them out, so maybe he'll call you up. I don't know. I would not sure I would go to it. If I went to that, man, the people run their mouth about me would have a field day, wouldn't they?
Right.
So I asked you to come on tonight for a very specific
Uh-huh.
reason. This and you were at every HCGOP event we had during the midterms. Having been around for a long time, Roger Slagle is the duly elected chairman, and the squabble, the fight, and everything else that's been going on with the now they've given themselves the names, apparently the GOP Pirates,
Right.
and the I want to ask you, during that midterm, running for a very, very important office, being the 7th Congressional, and I'm asking you not because I'm in the GOP or I'm not a big fan of the GOP Pirates, but asking you as a candidate that ran for federal office, how did you rate HCGOP and how they handled the midterms with all congressional or all candidates in the Republican primary?
Well, Chad, first let me uh, the Horry County GOP, Horry County Republicans. I'm a lifetime member of that
Yes,
group,
sir.
and I'm proud of it. And I'm like you and I've always shot straight with each other.
Yes,
I
sir.
did not vote for Roger Slagle. In fact, when we were over there that day and we voted, I didn't know who Roger Slagle was.
Sure.
I voted for Reese Boyd, but uh, you know, I do apologize because I have not followed all of the comments and everything going on, and so I don't know a lot about like this lawsuit and some of this other stuff. Uh, and I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I'm smart enough. I mean, I've for 20 years I've run meetings, and I know enough about Robert's Rules of Order. I mean, I know that Roger Slagle is the chairman of the Horry County Republican Party. Uh, and I mean,
Can you say that for the folks in the back
the way
there, the
I see
GOP?
it, he's the chairman until I think I'm not even sure when reorg is again,
April.
but whenever reorg comes up, he's the chairman until reorg.
Okay.
I'll put it, or that's the way I see it.
Okay.
Based on what I've followed and what I've heard.
And 20 years of being a chairman, having to understand Robert's rules, bylaws, and how that works. Let me ask you this, because I brought you on. I have some other people. I actually was talking to Tom Rentz from who is representing multiple military families that were kicked out of the military because they didn't get a vaccine. I'm actually going to booking him on my show soon. Tom Fenton from Judicial Watch. They're very interested in this particular little case in a magistrate court because they find it interesting. So I'm excited that my national friends are interested in this at their legal level. And I went to a lot of them to adjudicate because when you go to court, it's not always about bylaws. Not always. It's about law, right? And there really isn't any. But the whole idea of who is the chairman is based off of this resignation that happened on in September. And Roger Slagle, the chairman, Drew McKissick, who is a totalitarian child, refuses to, and he doesn't even recognize, he never recognized us in the first place. And that's what that entire drop was from the secret GOP pirate telegram, is that 2 months after Roger took office, they started this group to undermine Roger Slagle and the rest of the executive staff. So this show is not about hate and vitriol. I've asked you to come here because of your years of experience under Robert's Rule and bylaw. So that being said, you as a former chairman, I believe you said 16 years at HTC and then 4 years here at Horry County. Is that right?
That's correct.
And you are currently the chairman emeritus at HTC, still ongoing.
That's right.
So that being said, you had to run a lot of meetings, understand the bylaws that are there. And let me ask you this. I want to ask you some specifics because I want to make this clear because this has become very important to a lot of people, especially right before we go to 2024. They make the statement that, well, you know, if you're a CEO of a company, and this is actually coming from Reese Boyd III Esquire on his when he did Liz Calloway show, and said if you're a CEO and you resign, and then they go out and they find another CEO and they work everything through, and then you decide to come back, and then they say no, you've resigned. That was their reasoning behind saying that Roger Slagle cannot rescind his resignation, which he did prior to the effective date of September 30th. He said that they were resigning on the 26th and rescinded, I believe it was on the 26th. I'm sorry. And with that rescinding his resignation, they try to make it into employee law. As an elected official, is that the same law that you would be governed by?
Well, let me just say that now I'm at a little bit of disadvantage because I was not at any of these meetings. Because
I'm asking you specifics to what I'm saying in the rules.
You guys always have your meetings on the same night that I have my school board meetings, and
yeah, we get donut holes.
I tried to get you to change them one time, and
yep.
you kind of let me know that you weren't going to do, or I was notified that was not going to happen.
I didn't do that.
But the one thing, and like I said, you know, Reese Boyd is a friend of mine. I actually talked to Reese last week, and I'm going to tell you the same thing I told him. First off, there was no resignation done. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why. I mean, I really don't know why you guys are rehashing all this thing.
Whoa. We guys aren't.
Okay. Well,
we want to move forward.
It has, okay, let's go with Robert's rules. First off, it has to be a business item.
Right.
It has to go on the agenda. It has to be brought up. Mm-hmm. And, like I said, I was not there, but if Roger Slagle said, I'm going to resign. Mm-hmm. Okay, he can say what he wants to. I think anybody that's an EC can say what they want to say in there.
Yes, sir.
But what has to happen is when you do that, somebody should immediately stood up and said, okay, I make a motion to accept your resignation.
Meaning one of the ECs.
So you got a motion and a second. When you get the second, then you immediately call for discussion from the floor. It would have been discussed. After discussion, it would have been closed and it would have been voted on. Now, if all that would have happened and they would have voted to accept some type of resignation and they accepted it, then Roger Slagle resigned.
Right. But
it was never voted on. So from what I've been told, it was never voted on.
No, sir.
So I'm telling you, just like I'd tell anybody, I mean, I'm not trying to make friends, and I'm not trying to make anybody mad with me, but sure. You have to have some order. That's why they call it Robert Rules of Order. You've got to be able to run a meeting, and you got to be able to run it the proper way. And
well, this is the actual Robert's Rule right here. A resignation is a request to be excused from a duty. It may be withdrawn in the same manner as any motion may be withdrawn. That is to say, before the proposed resignation has been placed before the assembly by the chair stating the question on its acceptance. It may be withdrawn without the consent of the assembly, but it may not be withdrawn without permission of the assembly once it has been placed before the assembly for its approval. And you can see the little note there the little graphic we made, or the notes. This graphic's in the way. Hang on, let me move that thing out of the way. You know, I don't have a producer for this show. But what we were able to do here is put the idea of how we are going to get past this, right? And try to find ourselves in where Roger is to be. This is what we're ruled by under the HCGOP and bylaws. Chairman Slagle did not receive any consent from the ECs to be excused from duty, therefore allowing for a withdrawal of his resignation in the same order in which he gave it. So there is the absolute that's right out of Robert's Rules, okay? Yeah. And then we also have the South Carolina Republican Rules. Rule 5, Section E, number 3, should the office of the county chairman, county vice chairman, or state executive committeeman become vacant, the county executive committee shall fill the vacancy by electing a chairman, vice chairman, or executive committeeman, respectively, for the expired term. So that's a sticky point because we say it was never vacated. The day he rescinded his resignation, he was actually running the elections to replace those other executive positions. So would you say, in your professional opinion, that he in fact never vacated the office?
No, he never did. It was never voted on. It was never brought up as a business item. In fact, this thing about talking about him rescinding it, there's nothing to rescind. He never resigned. And I mean, everybody can keep talking about this, but I mean,
I don't want to.
I mean, you either got to go by the rules or you don't. And I'll give you a prime example. Roger might not like me too much because, Jeremy Haplin was signed up one night at our school board meeting he was going to come in for public comment. And I don't remember exactly what happened, but something happened. And Jeremy couldn't show. I believe he had one of his children had an accident or something.
Mm-hmm.
But Roger Slagle came and was going to speak for Jeremy. Well, I wouldn't let him because he wasn't. Roger Slagle didn't sign up. And by the way, I like Roger now. I got to know Roger, over the last year because, like you said earlier, I have gone to every time you guys invited me to go somewhere. I've gone. And there's been nights I've walked out of your meeting, kind of dragging my butt a little bit because, you
were running hard. I know.
Well, when you get in the political arena, you've got to be able to take some punches, and you cannot hide from punches because they will eventually catch up with you. And that was one of the biggest things, Congressman Fry. That was one of the things that I had with him, all I ever said to him was, just come in the room with us, at least these are the people, this is the largest county in the 7th District of South Carolina. Mm-hmm. Whether you believe it or not, Horry County, there's a lot of things that's just exact with the school districts, 3rd largest school district in the state. Mm-hmm. We got almost a $900 million budget. It's a big county. It carries a lot of weight, we talking about a guy running that never even came to a meeting. I mean, go in there and get beat up a little bit. You got to get roughed up a little bit. I mean, people. You gave him
the business up there at the debate.
Somebody up. I don't care. That's part of the fun of it. I mean, you can't just get along and go along. I mean, I knew the first night that I went into your group, I knew I was going to get beat up a little bit. Heck, I had the Club for Growth come down and met with me out of Washington, and they told me from the start. They said, we're interviewing 2 people for Congress. We're going to interview you. We're going to interview Russell Fry. And the guy told me, at least the guy, I liked him. He shot straight with me. He said, hey, we're not going to support you. He said, because you're the school board chairman and you carry too much baggage. Because that was during COVID. And during COVID, I couldn't make anybody happy, so it didn't make any difference. So all I had to do was just try to make sure that I didn't lose anybody, which is what I tried to do. But this thing, I mean, I don't know anything about the lawsuit deal tomorrow, and I wish both sides good luck on it. But as far as Robert's Rules of Order and running a meeting and that type of stuff, it was never put on the floor. It was never voted on. I mean, Roger got up there and say, hey, listen, I'm going to buy a $1,500 ice cream machine and went out and bought it. And I think if he would have done that, he would be wrong.
Right.
It should be voted on. He'd have to put it up there, let the ECs vote. But none of that was ever done. So I don't know how you rescind. I kind of wish he would kind of quit saying that. What is he rescinding? Because there was nothing to rescind because it was never. He's the chairman. Whether you like him or whether you don't, he's the chairman.
So let me ask you this, because their other caveat, which I'm sure we'll hear tomorrow in court, maybe we'll have the petulant one with us, and Drew McKissick. Drew McKissick wrote a letter that stated that pursuant to South Carolina law, that Roger Slagle resigned, and he is more than welcome to run in their other meeting that they had to get to where Reese Boyd III Esquire became the happy hour HCGOP chairman. And the thing is with this is that Drew McKissick is making the statement, and they're all getting behind it, saying the state said so. The state said that Roger's not there. So the way I understand it, we are autonomous, and that's why we have ECs. That's why we govern ourselves, and our delegates are ran by there for the state.
Well, Chad, let me say something to you. I'd like to go ahead and put this out there on the record, if it's okay with you. I'm from here. I'm from the South, and I'm one of these people. I believe that if you move here, and after you pay taxes the first year, you're one of us. But I am from here, and I was raised in the South, and I love my mama, and my mama raised me. If you can't say anything good about somebody, don't talk about them. So I'm not allowed to talk with you about Drew McKissick. Mm-hmm. So you can say anything you want about him.
I will.
That's the only time I'm gonna mention his name. So,
I understand that, but he is.
You'd like to talk about, I'd love to talk with you.
Is Drew McKissick? Does he have the authority to do that if we're autonomous from that? I'm not asking you to tell me whether or not you like his khakis. I'm asking you based on the Roberts rule and the where we're at as far as the state. The state is autonomous. We are autonomous from them. If that was the case, why doesn't he come down and get the checking account? Right. My question to you is, if they're standing behind that. And I'm asking you, as to parliamentary procedure, we've given you the law and everything. How is it that an acceptance by a man that is not, in fact, in charge of Roger Slagle allowed to say that he's not going to recognize him, bypassing us duly elected ECs?
Well, I mean, he can,
and you can talk to it on the policy side of it, not say his name.
He can say or do anything he wants to. If he came in my meeting and said that, and I knew he was wrong, I'd tell him that I thought he was wrong. I wouldn't treat him any different than I do anybody else. But they can go up one side and down the other. The bottom line, Roger Slagle is the chairman. He'll be the chairman. As far as I don't care what the court does and who sues who and what happens. I mean, when reorg, if somebody beats Roger, then then he's not the chairman.
Right.
But now, if he was to decide to, I am going to step away, and they put it to a vote, and they accepted it, then he's not the chairman.
Simple.
It's really, it's not rocket science. It's just common sense.
Well, I appreciate you coming in on this late evening on a Sunday. I hope you had a wonderful dinner. I know that we pushed this a little bit later so that we could, in fact, have you on. You are highly, highly respected here in Erie County and around the state for your continuous work with education and just, do we call it retiring, or you didn't retire? I mean, you just
I've retired. I took a pretty good whipping in this congressional race, and well,
you won the debate. How about that? I'll give it to you right here on I'm Fired Up. There you go. You won the debate.
I won one thing in the debate. Maybe I shouldn't have punched quite as hard because we're supposed to have some more debates and we didn't get a chance to do them. And but I don't. Maybe I should have backed off a little bit. Maybe not punched quite as hard. But it's like I said on Steve Bannon's show. I told him, I said, if Trump, if he doesn't pick me, pick the wrong guy. And,
Amen.
But I've done pretty good. Horry County's been very good to me, and I've done very good. But I can tell you what, I couldn't beat Donald Trump. But
no.
But it's just like dealing with you. I mean, he and I didn't agree on that, but it don't mean I don't like him. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So.
And my next question is nationally, before I get you to go, because you've been around for a minute, do you think that the establishment GOP, after watching everything with Kevin McCarthy, it seems like the MAGA Republicans are in fact being pushed to the back a little bit? Now, Matt Gaetz and them stood their ground and brought about some phenomenal rules. Let's hope Kevin McCarthy stays to them. But that being said, because we see it here locally, again, with the drop of everything that came from the GOP pirates and Shannon Grady's whistleblowing, it seems that they are absolutely hunting MAGA. Do you feel that that's happening nationally after Arizona, here, everywhere else? It seems that there might be establishment MAGA problem.
Well, yeah, I'll say this: a lot of people are really complaining about some of these people that held out and didn't want to vote for McCarthy.
Sure.
You know, they did what they felt like they had to do to get somebody's attention, and quite frankly, when you're dealing with the federal government, you need to get somebody's attention. And I'll probably get beat up a little bit about this because anytime you do anything on social media, you get beat up. But
You think?
we've got to get the federal government out of the schools. I mean,
Amen.
I told somebody, back when we were running, I said, one of the things I'd love to do is go to Washington and get on an education and try to get them out. Because I can tell you this, if you want to go to kindergarten all the way through graduate school, you got to get the federal government out of these schools, because I'm telling you right now, if I could send the government back every dime they send to Horry County and not have to follow their rules, this county would make money without children.
Oh, wow.
Because you can't be spending $13,000, $14,000 on a student and $36,000 on a convict and tell me that the system's not broken.
Amen. That's a well said statement right there.
But Chad, one thing I do want to say this before I leave. I've never commented ever on any of your pages or any of your things, and I'm like everybody else. There's no way that I'll go on and watch while you're live, because then I was there. But everybody goes back and watches your show after you're not live, because they want to see what you got to say. I mean, I'm
the mistress.
It's the greatest thing in the world. You can go back, nobody knows it. But I'm going to say this, and all my times dealing with you, and you have called me at times and asked me, is there anything the school district needed? Anything that you and other volunteers could do to help us?
We were there for COVID
never
too.
Told me a lie. No, sir. Not that I've caught. Not that I know of. You've never told me a lie, and I appreciate that. You can't ask for any more than that. But the people of Horry County are good, and I know there's a lot of people saying we need to all come together. We do need to come together. It's time to really start fighting Democrats. That would be a great thing. But
I think we are, actually.
Yeah, and I think what those 20 people were doing the other day is I think they were trying to say, okay, let's set up a platform of what we're going to do and what we want to accomplish. That's what they were trying to do. I don't think anybody should get mad at any of them for holding out. And
agreed.
They were saying they were trying to get, move up the ladder and get different committees, and that. Let me tell you, I learned about big boy politics. I just took a $600,000 lesson. I know.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir. So, I can say I've got my lesson. It did cost me $600,000 though.
Yeah, right. So,
what's that, Ken?
I said, well, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. And like I started out saying, there's a lot of people in this thing, but on both sides that are friends of mine, and I like it. And but right is right and wrong's wrong. And I hate to make anybody mad, and I don't care. I don't care what a magistrate in Conway or a judge in Columbia tells me. I know if they did not vote and accept Roger Slagle's resignation, he's still the chairman. And if, you're going to get mad about it, you can get mad. But people can do what I did. I said if Obama won, I'd leave the country. He won, and I left. When he left, I came back. So yes. You can't do no more than what you say you're gonna do.
Well, I just was looking at my Getter page, Getter social media, and I'm afraid, Uncle Ken, you're gonna need to start up a Getter profile. You got some fans over here already.
Getter page.
Okay.
I have a Getter page. In fact, the first time I heard the word Getter, I was actually talking with Steve Bannon and his producer.
Yeah.
And they said they were talking to me about Getter, and I said, well, in the South down here, the only time I ever heard Getter was Get Her Done.
Amen.
So I had to kind of get some people to wise up to social media, but
yeah,
I'm kind of I'm on the downside now. I'm trying to kind of back off of social media a little bit and let people like you just got a lot of energy and enthusiasm do it. And, you believe in what you're doing, and
yes, sir.
And I commend you for it. And there's a lot of people that disagree with what you're doing, and they have a right to start their own channel and say what they want to say.
Yeah, they did. The GOP Pirates. Thank you so much, Ken. I appreciate you. And we've talked many times, and at the end of the day, if they're not coming for me, I'm not doing enough. And You would
Welcome
think
to the
by
club.
now, what's it been, 7 years since I've landed on the scene? And you would
Yeah.
think that they would just stop poking the thug bear, but they don't.
Well,
I can't
thank you,
help that.
Chad. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you letting me come on. And I wish both. I hope you guys can work all this thing out.
Well, I'm sure we will, and that's what's great about the Republican Party is that we have a tendency to be passionate about what we believe in, and one way or another, kumbaya. If I can kumbaya with Shannon Grady, who happens to be in the chat right now, she said Ken is awesome. If I can kumbaya with her, I believe that again, you don't have to like the way I do it, but you can't argue with the results.
Yeah,
and that's where I live. I just had Roger Stone on my first show on Red Voice Media. He said the same thing, so
yeah.
I feel like we're doing the right thing. And I've always tried to do what's right for Ulrich County, from the sand pits to come into county council to work with the food that we are getting out for Meals on Wheels, to feed the kids that were with the buses. We try to be a part of it all, and you've always been there, and you've always helped us along, get past the red tape. And on behalf of everybody here in Ulrich County and the great state of South Carolina, I want to thank you for your continuous service to our education and being a chairman at HTC, and our school board chairman, lovely, for the last 4 years. And I hope you get to enjoy some time with your lovely wife, Miss Donna, who I am a huge fan of.
Thank you.
And I've never had an argument with Miss Donna, by the way.
Well, I've had enough for you.
Well, you said some. How I know you care about Elizabeth and at the same time, but we all appreciate your candor, and I appreciate you being the man that we all know you to be, and coming on here tonight and making the statement that you made. And I'll take it from there. But Ken Richardson, thank you, and we honor you and all of your years of service to Ulrich County in South Carolina. Thank you, sir.
Okay, appreciate it, Chad. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Bye-bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So what we're going to talk about, and there he goes. There's he was the longest running chairman in South Carolina till recently, where he has stepped down as the school board chairman because he ran for the 7th Congressional. And now I'm going to go into what we got going on. So I'll just go ahead, and since Don Bound, remember when he put this out here and he said he's most wanted and all of this, and because instead of being seen for what he is, he chooses to double down and double down and double down. So I like to make him, get some more fans over there. Don Bound, DonBowne. So all of you on Getter and whatnot, he's on Facebook. Don Bound of he has an organization. I'm not going to say it because I don't know which one it is. At Congress, he's got that one hat, and then he's got another hat and a website. I don't understand. He's just selling hats. So very sad for the people that just want to move on together. Now you want to move on together. Okay, cool. Good to hear. Good to hear. We can work with that. We need to work together somehow. It's so small. We don't need to work together. We need to work together. So we don't need to like each other, although that would be nice. Well, stop talking shit, Don. Hey, that's it. We just to look at the big picture. Roger, you got what you wanted, a court decision on January 9th. The courts will decide on who is right and who is wrong on the HCGOP debacle. Roger Slagle and his group. This is my favorite. Everybody pay attention. Roger Slagle and a group of people that follow him have said over and over again that they are right and they don't trust any of the rhinos in the SCGOP, and that this will have to go to court and be decided. It is too bad that this has to go this far to be worked out, but I think that there are a lot of people that would really like to understand and hear what the courts have to say. Now, I think this is Freudian. Let me tell you why. Hey, Getter, I'm paying attention to you right now because I need to give you all a little understanding of South Carolina. We are one of 2 states that still appoints judges. That's right, appoints judges. So if I tell you that the GOP Pirates, Mr. Bound there, in all of his greatness, he was part of the GOP Pirates and the 400. This is it. I actually have it right here. Look at this great stuff right here. GOP Pirates. That's their name. Nothing. I can't. I just can't. Anyway, they're out there now. He's saying that tomorrow in magistrate court, remember, appointed judges, they actually said in their telegram It was Jim Furry, the former FBI agent. Yeah, the guy that was doing opposition research on regular folks because he didn't like us. Sound familiar, folks? Exactly. Anywho, they are in their telegram actually went out there and made the statement that they would like to. Why can't we just be the establishment arm of the GOP? That is what the GOP pirates said. So they want to be the establishment GOP. South Carolina appoints judges by the Senate Judiciary Merit Selection, which is total sham. I'm going to film it this year for you guys. It's hilarious. And we are one of 2 states that still appoints judges. So, and you all have heard me talk about Luke Rankin, the lowest ranking Republican politician in the country, but I think he actually moved up a little bit. So we'll give him that. At least South Carolina is my senator and is the chairman. Are you hearing me, Getter? Everybody, put some Thugzillas up there. He is the chairman of the Judge Merit Selection Committee that appointed the judge that we're going to go see tomorrow in magistrate court. Not saying anything about this judge. His name's Brad or something. I'm sure he's a fine, fine fella. But at the same time, when we're sitting here fighting for our political lives, and the very person that was appointed by the very political side of the state that is trying to destroy MAGA, if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it's a duck. Just saying. Don't know. But let's go into the idea of this. This is a magistrate court. So Reese Boyd III, Esquire of the GOP Pirates and the fake GOP chairman, regardless of tomorrow morning or not. You just heard it from the longest running chairman in the state. Regardless of what he puts out and what he says, they're going to magistrate court. We have almost $30,000, 27, whatever, $1,000 in the bank. And they're going to magistrate court that has a cap of $7,500. They're suing for tables, chairs, GOP paraphernalia, a printer, not even a big printer, like just the one you buy at Walmart, and the financial documents. Wait. Why would you get financial documents if you can't win the rest of the money in the bank? Because this is a shame. They are using magistrate court because it makes you get there quicker, right? If you go into civil court, it could be years. But see, what they're doing is they're taking it to magistrate court, and they probably got a friendly judge. I heard Mr. Brad is very, very nice, and I'm excited about it. I like a nice judge, right? But appointed, whatever. And we're going there to sue over chairs, but not the $25,000 in the bank that the GOP is currently under the control of Roger Slade. And what they're doing is they're going to go and they're like, well, the state chairman said so, who has no control over any county party. They're completely autonomous. And let's talk about that for a second. If Drew McKissick is the Lord and Savior of the GOP of South Carolina in all counties, why doesn't he take his little khaki ass down here and go to the bank and take that money and hand it over to Reese? Because he can't. Because he's not in charge. And so we're going to go to the circus and tomorrow for a little magistrate court. You know, this is where you go there and say, hey, Bobby took my trash can and I want my trash can back, okay? Here's a picture of it. Here's a picture of me at Christmas with my trash can. And Bobby took it, and that's the same trash can. That's what they do at magistrate court. And in the state of South Carolina, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you on Getter, Cloud Hub, and around the rest of the socials, which I'm very impressed. I've got great numbers right now. This is all about who owns what. And the idea of that is so that they then can go into the public domain and walk outside, spike footballs. Look, he gave us chairs and tables. That's why I call this the fight for the HCGOP garage sale, because they're not going after anything, because they want to live in magistrate court. That's why you've got this little grifter, Don Bound, saying, Roger, you got what you wanted. A court decision on January 9th. We will decide on who is right and who is wrong on the HCGOP debacle. Actually, we won't, there, Donsky. We won't. And the reason why is because you're suing for tables and chairs and documents. There is nothing in any of the court papers that is asking for the magistrate judge to adjudicate who is the chair. Now, I can do that for y'all right here. We just did it with that. We just did it with Robert's Rules. Here we got some more cool shit. You know, this is, how about case law? You guys like case law? Is case law exciting? No? Maybe? Here it is. How about this? This is case law for elected officials. Law regarding withdrawal of a resignation. For the convenience here is the paragraph that relates to the subject at hand. Resignation can also be made to be effective at some future date, i.e. September 30th, like Roger Slagle did. However, the elected official may change his or her mind and withdraw. So do you all see that? The elected official, not a CEO, not somebody with a job that has a boss. The elected official may change his or her mind and withdraw the resignation at any point up to the time specified, i.e. September 30th. He did it on September 26th. For the resignation to be effective. Once the specified time period for the resignation is reached, it is automatically effective without any further action being required by the governing body, i.e. the executive committeeman of Horry County Republican Flippin' Party. Chairman Slagle withdrew his resignation before the effective date. Therefore, you got nada, not a chair, not a table, not a nothing. And you, all of you over there in the GOP Pirates, I have dropped 400 of these little special bastards, showing 2 years, a year and a half of you working not only just by yourselves, but with the chairman of the South Carolina party, also with none other than the lieutenant governor of South Carolina. That's right, for those of you on Getter. The lieutenant governor of South Carolina is so freaked out by us that she got involved in the GOP Pirates and went to one of their meetings. And here is the meeting minutes. Just for some of you that may want to pause this video later, you can read through it. I'm not going to, because we've done it before. But this Reese Boyd III Esquire, the leader of the GOP Pirates and the leader of the Happy Hour HCGOP, actually did minutes of a nefarious meeting. Make this shit up. Holy crap. And I'm the asshole constantly. These guys constantly want to make it my problem, my problem, my problem. And the thing is, you just can't deal with stupid. And just for those of you on Getter, Cloud Hub, the rest of the socials out there, Getter, are you ready for this? Here is your boy. That is Reese Boyd. Wait, what is this? Democrats are supporting Reese Boyd in the runoff for state election for state senate. Wait, holy crap, hold the phone. Our next state senator will be decided this Tuesday, June 28th, in the runoff election between Republican Reese Boyd and Stephen Goldfinch. Since we don't have a Democrat running, this is an important decision about who will best represent our interests in the General Assembly. We believe the candidate is Reese Boyd. Former Representative Vita Miller, a state Democratic Party leader, has endorsed Mr. Boyd, and we trust Vita's judgment. Here's where we can't call this opposition mailer or anything, okay? He seems to have a realistic view that taxes will have to go up and won't tie his hands with some no new tax pledge. I can't believe it. Mr. Boyd has been endorsed by the conservation voters who are fighting unneeded road projects, so he cares about the environment. He's a tree hugger. Mr. Boyd has taken the time. Here it is. Mr. Boyd has taken the time to reach out to Democrats and seek our support. We're encouraged by what Mr. Boyd has told us and believe he is someone who can work with Democrats in the Senate. Even though this is a Republican runoff election, Democrats can vote in it. That's right, Getter. South Carolina is an open primary also. Isn't that fun? Okay. Even though this is a Republican runoff election, Democrats can vote in it on Tuesday in the absence of a Democratic candidate for state Senate. Please vote for Reese Boyd III, Esquire. Notice how the little donkey's kicking his name? Isn't that a bitch? Okay, so wait. This is the guy that the state GOP, petulant child of an ass Drew McKissick, has tapped to have a fake election. Diesel's got to pee. To have a fake election that did not have 2/3. We tried to do the video, couldn't bring it up. We will post the video in the comments everywhere right now. Elizabeth, start posting it, or anybody else that has that video to show that this is the best part. The guy in the gold lame jacket, I'm not even shitting you. I swear, this is what he's wearing. And he's like, I didn't want to have to do this, but we don't have enough for the precinct, so we just have to have a simple majority, and read some obscure shit in the bylaws that had zero to do with re-electing a chair. This whole thing is an absolute corrupt sham. It is every bit of it, and now they're clogging up the courts to go tomorrow. And as you could see from Mr. Bound, that they're all about going to get some tables and some chairs and GOP memorabilia, so they can walk out there just like the grift or this fella. Let's see, what do you say here? Yeah. The courts will decide on who is right and who is wrong on the HCGOP debacle. No, they won't. You're going to try to jam it down a magistrate court so that he can give you some chairs. Everybody goes home. Yeah, we're good, and we're out of here. No, because it doesn't matter. And if he throws it out of court, then he's going to be that guy that sees it for exactly what it is. We have talked to 4 judges, multiple attorneys, and not one of them says that Reese Boyd III has any say to this, because in the letter, all it says is that he is the chairman because of Drew McKissick, the guy that is wanting to put the GOP chair of Horry County, as you heard from Ken Richardson, the most powerful county in the state of South Carolina, endorsed by Democrats when he ran for state Senate, proudly endorsed by Democrats. That's who the state GOP uniparty. Nah, I'm not going to say it. Yeah, well, no, I won't say it. Yeah, uniparty shill that is Drew McKissick. This guy's doing it in counties all over the state. Rona doesn't give a flip. And this is why we have to do the following. Show up, stand up, speak up. It's your republic, people. Tomorrow at 8:45 at the old courthouse, we ask you to stand for we the people. We ask you to stand against corruption. We ask you to stand against the people that are trying to take out MAGA Republicans across this state. We ask you to show you're an ultra MAGA. We ask you to show you're a patriot, and not just one that memes on mornings, but is actually willing to go out there and stand for something and flood that courtroom with patriots that want to show the world that they will not, and we will continue to not, be pushed around by the establishment uniparty punks that think they have control of this country because of their lobbyists and all of their other sitting at the table assholes. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll say it again. Show up, stand up, speak up. It's your republic. Fight for it.